welcome back to my channel. This is Debbie, and we are here for another Paralegal Reacts, where we are reacting to the Johnny Depp NGN libel case in the UK. And today was Amber Heard's second examination. So we're just going to kind of go through some of the highlights or major things that happened today. I did have to go through the transcripts, unfortunately. So yeah, this is just going to be more of highlights. But yeah, let's just get into it. Let's start off by reading the letter that Amber's divorce lawyer had originally sent to Johnny before all of this blew up, just because it's referred to. So let's start. It says, "Dear Mr. Bloom, please be advised that our firm has filed a petition for dissolution of marriage on behalf of Amber Depp. As you may be aware, your client and Amber's husband, Johnny Depp, violently attacked and threatened Amber on Saturday night, May 21st, in their penthouse apartment located at 849 South Broadway. There are several witnesses to this particular incident, and there are photographs depicting the property damage Johnny caused, as well as the physical injuries he inflicted on Amber. Unfortunately, this is not the first incident of domestic violence perpetrated by Johnny against Amber. In fact, there have been 2 other incidents in the past 6 months. Although Amber is afraid of Johnny, she strongly insists that we do everything possible to keep this personal matter out of the media spotlight, which is why she has not yet sought a CLETS DVTRO and why we did not arrange for Johnny to have been personally served at last night's movie premiere. Amber wishes to work quickly towards a private and amicable resolution of all matters, but she will need Johnny's immediate cooperation to do so. To this end, please have Johnny promptly sign and return by Friday, May 27th, 2016, the enclosed notice and acknowledgement of receipt form confirming service of the summons, petition, family law case cover sheet, and blank response. If the requested notice is not signed and the original executed form is not returned to me by May 27th, we will have no alternative but to arrange for Johnny to be personally served. In addition, we are requesting on Amber's behalf the following: appropriate pendante lite support, exclusive use and possession of the black Range Rover, the vehicle she is currently driving, with Johnny to continue to make all payments for any encumbrances thereon, exclusive use and possession of 849 South Broadway, penthouses numbers 1, 3, and 5, with Johnny to continue to pay mortgages, utilities, etc. associated therewith, and a contribution towards her reasonable and necessary attorney's fees in the amount of $100,000 and $25,000 for forensic accounting costs to be paid to my firm by close of business on May 27th, 2016. Further, I believe it would be beneficial for all if this case was assigned to a private retired judicial officer for all purposes. My proposed list of private retired judicial officers is as follows: Honorable Gretchen Taylor, Honorable Robert Schneider, or Honorable Melinda Johnson. The fees of the judicial officer can be paid with funds from the party's community estate. Kindly let me know at your earliest convenience if you and your client are agreeable to doing so, as well as which judicial officers are acceptable. Upon hearing from you, I will have my assistant obtain rates and availabilities. We are indeed hopeful that we can swiftly work out mutually acceptable short and long-term solutions outside of the public eye. Thank you to your prompt follow-up and reply." So yeah, basically this is saying, give us what we want, or we are going to take this public and seek the temporary restraining order. And it says by May 27th, so not too much time to even respond. So it is very aggressive. I'm going to go to an excerpt from the transcript where counsel says, "Can I ask you about the next paragraph? Amber wishes to work quite quickly towards a private, amicable resolution, but she will need Johnny's immediate cooperation to do so. Exclusive use and possession of penthouses 1, 3, and 5, and then fees." So effectively, you're wanting him to agree straight away, and that letter has got a veiled threat in it, has it not? That the violence is something that could and would be used. Do you agree? And Amber says, "No, I do not agree. Temporary restraining order is a public record, whether you like it or not." And then the counsel says, "What that letter is effectively is blackmail, is it not?" And then Amber says, "No." Later on, Amber says, "As naive as it sounds to hear myself say it now, at the time, I thought the way that we had gone about filing for the divorce on a Friday afternoon, late, it could stay under wraps potentially for a few days, and those few days were precious few days of privacy in the hardest time of my life, and presumably difficult for Johnny as well. I would have done anything to have those last few days of privacy, and I wanted Johnny to know that." Later, counsel refers to a text that Amber sent Johnny, and counsel reads, "Let us carry on with the text, but that letter is private, and unless you file as well, I've nothing but love for you." So what you are saying here is in black and white, essentially, is that if he does not file and agrees to what you want, then it is not going to go public. That is it not, in a nutshell, putting it neutrally? Later on, Amber says, "In essence, I was asking him to please stop calling me a liar because it would force me into a position to prove it. And here we are 4 years later, and I just did not want to do this to him. I did not want to do this to us. This is awful and embarrassing. He was calling me, or he had his team. He had a vast PR team that still worked to this day, saying this was all for money. He knew better, I knew better, and I just wanted him to stop doing that in the press because it would force me into a position where I would have to prove it, and it would harm him." So side note, this is me speaking. So yeah, I guess now you are in a position to prove it. So that's what everyone is wanting you to do, to prove it. And I don't know, we're kind of waiting. So TikTok, Amber. So as we all know, Amber did go on to get the temporary restraining order, which she actually did as an ex parte order, meaning that the other party didn't get any notice about the hearing. So she did not tell Johnny that she was doing this, and Johnny didn't know about it, and nor was he there to defend himself or anything like that. But at the time, as we know, it became a media circus, and Amber would say, she said that she was not responsible for alerting the media. She said that someone must have leaked it, and she just didn't know how. However, in the transcript, counsel refers to a text message that Amber sent Io Till It Right, where he asks, "Why didn't you?" And then it says, I think she makes a statement, and that says, "You say, because it would have gone straight to TMZ, which will happen on Monday anyway," which means that whether she called TMZ herself or had someone do it for her on her behalf, she knew in advance that the media was going to be there. So it was a calculated thing that the media was there. So I'm not buying all this stuff like, oh, I didn't want this. But if you didn't want this, why did you alert the media? Why did you make it such a big thing? Later on, the counsel made reference to the fact that Amber is constantly having, new allegations come up, and she's constantly adding things on to the story. And I guess that you asked, why didn't you include more instances in your application for the restraining order? Which, would make sense, especially as today she tries to make it sound like she was beat every single day of her life for 5 years straight. Counsel says, what she is effectively saying is that acting on information from you, there had been 3 incidents in the past 6 months of violence. Amber says, correct, that is what it sounds like. And counsel says, what are the 3 incidences that she is referring to? Amber says, there have been so many. I do not know which ones I told her about in that moment. Counsel says, we will come on to the declaration in a moment, but you refer to December 2015 in that? Amber says, yes, that one was particularly bad. Counsel says, do you take it that you would have told her about December 2015, April 21st, and May 21st? Amber says, there are so many. I honestly do not recall which ones I told her about at that moment. And then counsel says, you see, just days before this trial started, the trial there now, you remembered a number of other assaults upon you that you never mentioned in the document before. Amber says, that is incorrect. I remember many, many of them. But you would think that if she was being as abused as she says she was now today, which is like I said, almost every single day of her life for 5 years straight, wouldn't she have said consistently abused or something and not just reference to 6 specific occasions? Amber then goes on to say, oh, no, she specifically told me that it was a short application. We only had a certain amount of pages, a certain amount of space, and that there was frankly no need to, because if you hit a person, a partner, your wife once, it would qualify me for the restraining order I was seeking. So for ease, comfort to my own well-being and mental health, she just said, give me the last couple, and that is what I did. Trust me, there's no character limit when it comes to legal documents. There's no limit. There's no like, oh, you only get one page. Like, you know what I mean? Like some of these applications can be like books, honestly. And generally, the most information you can give is the best, especially when it comes to something like a restraining order. But I feel like maybe they had more of a laid back attitude because of the fact that he wasn't getting, it's an ex parte thing. He wasn't getting notice. He wasn't going to be there to defend himself anyways. Later, Amber says, in reference to makeup, she says, "That is right, my lord. Whenever I leave the house, because I am photographed often when I leave the house and recognizable, people take pictures of me. It is my industry. I wear makeup." Which is crazy because most of the time she's not wearing makeup. In fact, the day after she did the restraining order, she was pictured without makeup and without a bruise and laughing her ass off. Later, there's an instance that Amber referred to as a disco bloodbath, where she says that Johnny assaulted her the same day as a Keith Richards event, where there's blood splatters and busted lip, and her sister Whitney apparently corroborates this and says that she also saw the red face and the busted lip. And they also talk about Johnny Depp getting jealous and defacing a painting from Amber's ex, Tasia Van Ree, and writing Tasia Van P on it. Going back to the transcripts, Amber says, "No, it is because when Johnny hit me on one of the many occasions in March in which there was violence, the one particular incident that I had referred to as disco bloodbath is because it got some blood on a little of my t-shirt, but also on the wall, and that was in relation to a different incident. I remember that well because he had his rings on, and when he backhanded me, it cut the inside of my lip. So even though this was taken before the incident." Later, counsel showed that there was text messages between Whitney and Johnny about him changing the signature on one of her paintings, of the Amber's ex paintings, to Tasia Van P. They were basically clowning her, laughing about it, and they even said that Amber was in on the joke as well. However, this actually occurred 1 year after Whitney and Amber alleged that incident took place with Keith Richardson, which is crazy because it's exactly as they said it, but the date is off. So if that actually happened the way that they said and he was so abusive, then why would they find that so funny a year later? And why would Whitney be just so chummy with him at that point? Later, counsel says, "Now she was there on the 22nd. I'm going to suggest that you have got quite a difficult path to tread here because you are being very careful to take the graphic assault back to the 8th of March. But, in fact, your sister had already said, and I will take you to her statement if I need, that she saw you with a split lip, noticed something about the painting had been taken off the wall, and that was the incident immediately before you went to the Keith Richards documentary." Amber said it had been taken off the wall shortly after the first minutes of her being there, I believe. It was when Johnny was trying to burn it. Counsel says, "Do you know? I'm going to suggest that you do know that your sister has said that she turned up, saw you with a split lip, noticed the painting was off the wall, and in fact this was all before you went to the Keith Richards documentary. Do you know that that is what your sister says?" Amber says, "I believe she said something to that effect." Counsel goes, "Thank you. So you have to maintain, do you not, that there is some sort of injury because that is what your sister says?" Amber says, "No, it is because he hit me a lot in March." Then counsel shows a picture of her at this Keith Richards thing, which is like Johnny Depp, Amber, Whitney, Keith Richards, probably somebody else, I can't remember. And they're saying that, well, basically Amber doesn't look injured in the picture. At one point, Amber refers to the infamous staircase incident involving her sister. She then elaborates on it and saying that this happened because she had been told by two different people a rumor that Johnny Depp pushed Kate Moss down the stairs and that she was scared that Johnny would do the same to her sister. So because of that, she hit him, and that was the first time that she alleges she ever hit him back. She also says that Johnny hit both her and her sister Whitney with his hard plaster cast, which Amber and Whitney have never submitted that before. And when asked why not, Amber said something along the lines it's not possible to list all the assaults, which I don't know. I mean, at least for Whitney, you would think that you would remember your sister's husband at the time beating you with his cast, you know? You would think that that's something you would want to put in your submission, especially if you're trying to paint the picture that he's abusive. Why wouldn't you bring up the time that he beat you with his cast, you know? And I don't know, that's weird. So that's kind of not really adding up. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Whitney takes the stand. I'm sure they're going to cross-examine her on that, so we'll see. And of course the Kate Moss stuff is hearsay and it's not admissible whatsoever. And then the counsel basically accused her of making things up as she goes along, which I mean, I agree. I would say probably the biggest lie, exaggeration she got caught in had to do with the hostage situation she said she was in with Johnny in Australia. So I'm just going to go back to the transcript here. Counsel says, there had been a row between you and Mr. Depp about a prenup. Can I go to actually what you say happened? If we go straight to paragraph 102, 3-day hostage situations, you were there for 3 days on your own. Essentially, you were trapped in a violent situation with multiple incidents of serious violence. That is right, as a summary of what your allegation is it not? Amber says, yes. Counsel goes, I'm going through exactly what you say happened in terms of the physical violence involved. Extreme acts, you say, of physical and emotional psychological violence. You were left with an injured lip, nose, and cuts on your arm. Then counsel goes, so this is a photograph. Do you recognize it as being in the bedroom where you stayed in Australia? Amber says, yes, I do. Counsel, with sliding glass doors? Amber, yes, I do. Counsel, and it goes out onto a patio we see? Amber says, yes. Counsel, in fact, there are some stairs down to go outside from that patio, are there not, from the outside? Do you remember that? Amber, no, I do not remember those stairs. Counsel says, I'm going to suggest that you had the opportunity to leave. Then the judge goes, I am sorry, you do not remember the stairs down to the outside? Counsel says, you had the opportunity to leave at any point during those 3 days, did you not? Amber, I could have called someone to come and get me, yes, but the property itself was quite isolated. Counsel, you have described yourself as being a hostage type situation. That is in your statement I read out earlier, yes? Amber, I said it was like one. Counsel, is that true? Amber, that is how I described it. Counsel says that is total lies, is it not, because you had a cell phone? Amber says yes. Counsel, if you are a hostage, you do not usually have one of those, do you? Then the judge goes, just a minute, you had a cell phone and you agree that you did. Amber says, I did. Counsel says, you could have contacted anybody? Amber, yes, I could have. Counsel, if you had wanted at any point? Amber says, absolutely. Counsel, you could have left at any point, even in your own account, and no one was stopping you? So it's just me here. So I think that was huge, because she was saying I was being abused for 3 days, you know, nonstop or whatever, but saying she had no way to leave. But you did have a way to leave. You had a phone. If it was that bad, you could have called for help. You could have, you know, you could have left, essentially. And then she says that the first night, or Johnny took up between 8 to 10 ecstasy pills, and that's when he proceeded to be aggressive for 3 days straight, no sleep. Which is crazy, because MDMA, ecstasy, it's supposed to make you more chill out, more mellow, more cuddly. It's not supposed to make you aggressive, where you just beat the crap out of people for days without stopping, you know? And then the counsel starts asking her about the recording, the 8-minute or 8-hour famous recording. He says, Amber says, I was not the one to make the recording. Johnny picked up what I believe is my phone, and at the time, I could not have any lock or password on my phone. It would have been a whole other war. He picked up my phone, and he was not saying many coherent things. I was trying to understand him. He pushed record, hence why I did not know this recording existed until way into my divorce or after. Counsel says, so we have an acceptance by you that there was a recording done on your phone. I think that is what you are saying. Amber says, I found out about it years later. Counsel, that you just found out later that Mr. Depp had done? Amber says, it was years later. I remember him picking up the phone and saying he was going to record, but I could not possibly imagine that he would actually have figured that out in the state he was in. He was rambling incoherently. I thought he threw it, but maybe he just threw it down. I could not recall. Then I went home sometime later and found out about the recording out of the sheer length. It went on for, as I recall, 7 or 8 hours because the applications on which you record just runs in the background until you turn it off. Yeah, so me talking here. But how would he have had the foresight to do that when he just cut his finger off? And what if he was trying to, covertly record some conversations? Why would he do it on your phone so that he wouldn't have access to it? It doesn't really make any sense, if you ask me. Then later, Amber admits her and Johnny came back to the exact same house in Australia where his finger was severed and where she alleged that the 3-day hostage situation abuse took place. She actually did state that it was sexual abuse or assault as well in there. And then Johnny's counsel said, if all these horrific things happened to you there, like, how could you stand to go back? And then she said that the house wasn't the problem, that the monster, the part of Johnny, was. But then you're there with them both, so it doesn't make sense. So definitely we're seeing a lot of inconsistencies. Things are being embellished or exaggerated. They're just way over the top. Like the thing where Johnny beat me and my sister with a cast, like, what? And why wouldn't you have set that up? I feel like she's just kind of adding things on. It's making it less believable. It's just, and how are you going to keep up with all these lies, or allegedly lies, but so she's not doing too hot so far, but she's going to be back tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, she's not looking very good. It's already been busted that she exaggerates and whatever. So it's up to the judge, though, at the end of the day. So it's really hard to predict. But I will say that he's on everything. He's constantly pausing people to take notes and everything. He's on top of everything. So I'm sure that he's seeing this. He's paying attention. Or even like when her counsel gave something with like a metadata, like the times were different for his copy and for like the person on the stands. So of course that's a major red flag. So I'm really hoping that he allows Johnny's team to get their own expert to confirm Amber's metadata. But I'm really curious to see what happens when Amber's witnesses take the stand. Are their stories going to match up, or are they going to kind of chicken out? We'll see what happens, but yeah, they're going to be back at it tomorrow and probably some of next week or all of next week. So yeah, lots more to report on. But yes, thank you so much for watching. That's it for now. Thank you so much for anyone that left kind comments. I'm really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this and hope it was informative. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much and take care, guys. Bye.